Hi folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch another really windy day. Warm, dry, and very, very windy. Sure I'll be busy today. I have been every day this week with wildfires here in our area and in other areas. That one yesterday was quite large, but thankfully we were able to get a hold of it pretty quickly. A lot of things going on. I'm going to talk about that, but I want to talk about something real serious for just a moment. There's a friend of mine. He's a friend of many of you. Many of you know who he is, and even if you don't specifically know who he is, I'm sure you're going to be well aware of the things that he has done, the impact he has made. There's a gentleman that has come to our local meetings for years, almost since the beginning. And he is one of the most genuine dear people that I know, and he works very hard here in Missouri to keep Missouri constitutional. His name is Patrick Holland. He is, well, for instance, in Missouri we have the Second Amendment Preservation Act. I'm sure many of you are familiar with that. That bill would not exist, would not be passed if it hadn't been for him. He's not a politician. He's not part of some big nonprofit organization. He's just an individual that devotes his time, uses his own money, doesn't take donations at all, and he goes up to the Capitol very often, and he pushes and encourages our legislature and the governors that we've had to adhere to the Constitution and to adhere to freedom and liberties. The gold and silver push here in Missouri, all kinds of stuff, homeschooling bills, pro-life, all of those things that have been, whether they were passed or not, that they were pushed here in Missouri over the last few years. Patrick has had his hand in directly, and if it hadn't been for him, things wouldn't have gotten done. I mean, this man has devoted and sacrificed a lot. Well, anyways, the reason why I'm bringing him up is his wife has become very, very ill and isn't doing too good. And number one, I ask for all of you to remember her in prayer. They are just one of the sweetest couples ever. We absolutely love them dearly. And because of the illness, there occurring some financial, some bills, and it's affecting them financially. And so I've got actually another guy, a friend of ours, has started it, but a GoFundMe page for them. And if you're able to at all to make any kind of contribution, I assure you it's a worthy cause. This man has done so much, and his wife. They have done so much for liberty here in the state of Missouri, and she's just not doing too well. We're still waiting on some test results to know exactly what's going on and the outlook. But if you could pitch in, if you're able to kind of help them, and if you're not able to, at least pray for them. Pray for both of them, because it's hit them hard, and it's just not a good situation. All right. It's kind of hard to go on from after that, because I just, it's affected me emotionally, because they're some of our closest friends. Anyways, so yesterday afternoon, as was promised, the JFK files were released. And if you just kind of looked at what was going on and being said online, you'd think that nothing else in the world is happening but the JFK files, because no one's talking about anything else but the JFK files since it came out. So that alone right there tells me, that sounds like a big distraction, right? And no one's talking about anything else except the JFK files. And what's interesting, so far, there's been about 60,000 pages released. So far, doesn't look like anything of any great significance has been released in them. There doesn't appear to be any big smoking gun that changes the narrative in the story. So far, it looks like that overall, the documents still support one shooter, Lee Harvey Oswald. There's a few things in it that indicate that the CIA was a little bit more involved and suspicious, and then maybe the Russians and probably the Mossad, the Israelis and stuff. But overall, it's not really changing too much. And while it could be an interesting read, I've said from the beginning, especially with the JFK files, it's not going to change anything. Even if it did come out and say, oh, there's this guy was actually the one that did it, or this other guy actually helped. We're talking 60 plus years ago. Most of these people are dead, okay? And even if they found out that, some other government was involved, well, things have changed since then. It's unfortunate that was the relationship back then. It's not going to change anything, but it is drawing a lot of attention and diverting a lot of attention to this stuff. What's it diverting attention from? I don't know. In the last 24 hours, there's been very little said about Yemen, Gaza, Iran, and our involvements in all of those. So it's diverted attention from that, because who knows what's going on with those places. It's diverting attention from, well, maybe this here. Yesterday, the president stated that because of Ukraine and how things are going, that it could draw the United States into Ukraine more, like meaning boots on the ground Ukraine, and involve Americans in a World War III. And he said, you never know, things happen. And that's being said as supposedly a peace deal is trying to be worked out. And while, depending on who you listen to and what you read, it looks like it's a positive thing that's moving forward, and that Putin and Trump are buddies, and that they're going to fix something and work this out. But yet on the other hand, it doesn't look that way, because Ukraine has said that they will absolutely not give up any territory. That's a red line. They won't do it. The United States is now back to, and it's been confirmed, is back to sending weapons over to Ukraine. United Kingdom sending weapons to Ukraine. So there's talk being done on one hand, but the actions are kind of still the same. Putin stated in his phone meeting with Trump that they would do a 30-day ceasefire on just utility infrastructure in Ukraine. So the war would continue, but they would stop bombing their utilities, their electrical grid and stuff like that. And then just a little while later, Russia did that. They attacked some more spots on the electrical grid. There's been drones back and forth from Ukraine into Russia. So things are still going along. It seems to be the same. And it was either yesterday or the day before that several, well, they weren't all European countries, but several countries have met together to discuss sending about 35,000 troops into Ukraine. Australia, Canada, France, United Kingdom, and I think Turkey and maybe another country have said that they're working on some kind of deal of sending a bunch of troops into Ukraine. So things don't seem to be slowing down at all there. And I wonder, is there really peace negotiations? Is it really moving forward? Excuse me. Or is that just a cover? Is that just some smoke for what else is going on? I don't know, but when you have a president warning that Americans could get caught up in World War III, I know that he does a lot of bluffing. I get it. He's a shock and awe kind of guy, and then typically backs off of that. But it's something to think about. The state of affairs is, well, it's not good, folks. And I think there are more and more Americans, even staunch Trump supporters, that are starting to wake up to the fact that the United States being involved in a large-scale war is becoming more and more of a reality. Whether it be in Ukraine, in Yemen, with Iran, Gaza, Israel, that whole fiasco, or maybe over on the other side of the planet with China and North Korea and stuff, because everything is tensing up. Everything is looking, well, it's looking bad. And it's not, I'm not saying that to be some doom and gloom, you know, oh, the sky is falling. It actually is happening that way. That's what's going on. And we're getting these distractions. Well, there's no JFK files. Oh, well, you know, forget about those. Well, here, I mean, there's no Epstein files. Well, here's some JFK files. There's not really much in them. I mean, there's a lot in it, but I don't think anything's going to change because of those JFK files. But boy, people sure like to eat it up. It's you know, the more and more I kind of step back and observe what goes on social media platforms, and it's like a feeding frenzy. And, you know, whatever is the latest something, and they just feed off of that, and it's just this. It's like watching a bunch of piranhas feed. And honestly, I don't think it's a good thing, because you know, we get distracted, we get focused on something that's not important, and most Americans now, that's where they get their information. They're not getting their information from CNN and ABC and Fox News. I mean, some of the older folks still are, but the vast majority of Americans are no longer getting their information from that. They're not sitting and watching the president speak at the Oval Office on their TV. They're getting sound bites, and they're getting little pieces of it from clips on the internet, and people's opinion of what he said on the internet. And then you have to throw in a big helping, you know, healthy dose of AI, because so much of the stuff now out there is AI produced. You know, the AI will come up with the post, or will produce the news based on what it's understanding. Many times it's not correct. We live in precarious times, and whether it be World War III, some kind of financial collapse, or the many other options that are available out there for things to happen, we need to be prepared. You need to be getting yourselves ready every day, praying, just absorbing and consuming scripture, and then getting yourselves physically ready, stocking up, doing all the things that you need to do, because things are uncertain, things are chaotic, and that alone is a reason to. But the outcome could be even worse. So get your houses in order and prepare yourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next video.